strategic move that Eddie is making for AJ? Why are you not thinking, let's get him set up for
kind of animal? If that was years and years and years ago. Like, Clarissa is a way different fighter from when she was back in.
Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on our
defenses that she's had to have recently. You know, she's pulled people.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the RoundTable about tribalism. I don't think tribalism is necessarily bad. I just don't think it has to be.
I don't know what he think he sees or what he think he know. But he going to the hospital, bro. Like, bro, you not winning that fight.
You guys mentioned, I think, D-Style, you mentioned him versus Regis Prograis. I'd love, that sounds like a...
Old, I don't need you, you know, and PBC and others, in my opinion, it's like, oh, this is my guy. Like, there's a relationship.
Flat out, it's tough, and we call box, and we go to the end of the round, and then...
That would say, what do you mean by acting black? That's a fair question, but a participant of trash talk knows...
And they're announcing a fight 3-4 months from now. And he ain't going to fight. I bet you anything. He's not going to fight somebody as good as John Ryan. Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. If you're listening on the archive, make sure you hit the like button. Share this on all your social media platforms. I'm your host, D-Style Boxing. This is the 131st edition of the RoundTable. I've been joined by Joe Habib from Ringside Reporter. We got Julius here, Ring IQ. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. And, of course, Mario Munguia from Infighting Pod. And I recently saw him on some shorts from the Boxing Boys. Congratulations. All right, there you go. All right, let's go ahead and get this one started. I want to start off with two kind of breaking news stories really quick. One of them is Ryan Garcia with Derrick James. A marriage made in heaven. I have an idea what's going to happen, but you never know, right? So we're saying, look, this is proof that he's taking it serious. He's going to take it to a whole new level. Ring IQ, what's your reaction to him going with Derrick James?
I mean, I don't think that a trainer switch will correct what is wrong with him, and we'll see if it makes a difference. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But it's like Eddie Reynoso was a great trainer. Joe Goosen is a great trainer. Derrick is a great trainer. I think I have a high opinion of Derrick, but I don't believe that changing trainers addresses the problem. And the problem is Ryan's work ethic. That's the problem. You had a great trainer in Joe Goosen. I thought that was actually a good fit because he doesn't have a lot of star clients right now. So he has a lot of time to take care of one guy, and that wasn't enough. And I see that, and I'm like, look, Derrick already has Frank Martin, Errol Spence, Anthony Joshua, Jermell Charlo, a couple of others. When you have that many guys, you're kind of spreading yourself thin, which is what happened with Eddie Reynoso. So, I mean, it's nice. It makes headlines, but we won't know the benefit of it until he fights. So, yeah, we'll see.
All right. Munguia, you like this? This is a good sign. Do you agree with Ring IQ? It doesn't really mean much. It's going to come down to Ryan.
Yeah, it's 100% going to come down to Ryan. IQ's right. I think that, look, Derrick James is a great trainer, okay? And Ryan Garcia can be a great fighter. People often look at trainers at the pro level like they would trainers at the commercial level, like at Freedom Fitness or some shit, right? Where it's like, oh, this guy's not that great. Let me get somebody who's better, you know? And yes, it works in that to a level, but really at that level, trainers and fighters, it's all about style and pairing. It's all about communication. It's all about how they get along. It's all about how much control, which is a weird word, that they have over their fighter and what they do and what they don't do. The one thing I think has been the issue, I don't know how much of it is Ryan's work ethic. I do agree that he wasn't focused on boxing. I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to be or because he's got so many other obligations. But the big problem to me was that it never seemed like anybody really had control of Ryan, whether he, you know, what he was going to do and what he wasn't going to do. So for us to look at this impact, right? IQ's right. We're going to have to wait and see what it looks like. But ultimately, I don't think that it's about the trainer to fix what Ryan. We saw him against the elite, and it's just not there. He has the skills. He has, or not the skills. He has the athleticism. He has the ability. The one thing I didn't see is any sort of awareness or knowledge of what kind of fighter he even really wants to be. Before he even settled on a trainer, he needs to settle on a fight ID, right? Like on who he is as an identity.
Yeah, because I don't think he has an identity as a fighter.
Me neither. Me neither.
Yeah, it's an identity crisis, right? That's pretty much what it is.
It's like raw clay.
Yeah. Joe Habib, what do you make of this news?
Yeah, I think it's much ado about nothing, and I hate to be negative because I think Ryan's a good kid and everything, but the problem is when you're making more money outside the ring than inside the ring, when you don't need to do this, it's almost like this is a hobby to him, right? And some guys do it because they have to do it. Like Sugar Ray Robinson really didn't like boxing. He wanted to be a dancer, but he could make a lot of money doing it, so he did it because he needed to do it for the money. So if you either have to do it or you just have a deep down burning desire to do it, right? It's usually either, mostly one of those two things. And it's not one of those two things for Ryan, right? So I don't know, man. I just I don't want to, rain on the kid's parade, but I just have a hard time seeing him improving and getting better. I just think that a lot of these habits are just instilled in him that he's been doing for years, and I don't think he's going to be able to just snap his fingers and it's going to go away. I'm being honest.
Man, shout out to Remy. He says, "What's up, everybody? I appreciate the support, brother. Thank you for being a member. HLD joining the membership as well. I appreciate that. You guys could join as low as 99 cents a month. Okay, pretty cool. Just saying. Help a poor kid from El Paso. With that said, look, I kind of want to transition to. Cause I'm going to say this, and I want you guys' thoughts on this. So I know what's going to happen. He's going to fight Raleigh. He's going to knock Raleigh out. And everybody's gonna act like Derrick James just did some crazy shit. They're like, "Oh, look how good he looks with Derrick James." I mean, my God, Derrick James, he's got the push. You know what I mean? He's got the magic touch. Well, yeah, he's fighting Raleigh. He's not fighting Tank. He's not fighting. It's not even, no offense to Raleigh, but he's not even Campbell, who he fought under Reno. Not even that. Sorry, Campbell beats the shit out of Raleigh, in my opinion. Right? So. Like, he's going to get that win, and people are going to act like Derrick James just did wonders. You know what I mean? And I don't want to, it's not a knock on Derrick James. It's more on Ryan, right? But that's what I think. But Raleigh Romero is talking about wanting to fight Ryan Garcia. He doesn't want to fight the mandatory. He doesn't want to fight any no names. He wants to fight a big name, a pay-per-view name, because Raleigh believes he's a star, I guess. What do you make of it, Ray IQ?
Rolly's retarded. But other than that, I do agree with you. I could see the fight happening. I could see the fight happening depending on who crosses the street. I struggle with the deal structure. Like, what, Ryan's gonna go back to Showtime, or is it gonna be on DAZN? Because Rolly's not the A side to Ryan. Ryan is worth a lot more money than Rolly, and that is established. So I wonder how it happens, if it's going to happen. But I do agree that, yeah, if they fight, everybody's going to blow it out of proportion. Like, oh, my God, Derrick James, look at the shit. Oh, like, bro, you don't need Derrick James to beat Rolly. Barbosa beat Rolly without Derrick James, in my eyes. He was on his way to beating Rolly without Derrick James. Jackson Marinez beat Rolly without Derrick James. So you don't need a star trainer to beat that guy. But like with those kids, man, Rolly, Javante, Ryan, eso son carajito, man. Like those is like it's like it feel like high school shit. Like it don't even feel like boxing. It feel like some JV type shit. Like
yeah, for sure. Mario, he wants to fight Ryan. He wants to go straight at it. I mean, what does it say to you about boxing that losers are being rewarded with title shots?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's actually probably the best way to put it. And it's nothing new, and it's not going to change anytime soon. If you're ultimately an attraction that brings in dollars over the rest of them, it doesn't have to be like, it's all comparable, right? Like, we're not in the Floyd era anymore. Nobody's looking to crack $1 million every time out the gate. So when you find these guys who are, can attract and have that kind of it factor, it's important for promoters to mold them. For me, the problem I think is is Showtime going to back down after their ability to do what they were able to do and accomplish with the Tank fight? IQ is absolutely right. Ryan's the A side. You know, does Showtime bow down? Does Rolly, you know, get out? What does he do? You know, how deep is he even in some of these contracts that he's in? Like how close is he to a free agent is my question. And I've been wondering that. I just think ultimately it's a bad look. It's a bad look that he was even fighting for a 140 title. It's a bad look how he won his last fight. It's a bad look to come out and start screaming for the big fights. Like, we want to see guys earn it. We want to see guys deserve it. That's why everybody loved the Rocky movies. That's what everybody loves about boxing, ultimately, that underdog story. And I just feel like IQ nailed it. It's like high school bullshit. Even the way they talk, like the accents, it's just like they all sound like YouTube creators. You know what I'm saying? Like, they all sound like content creators. I hear them do interviews and press and conferences, and I honestly feel like every time they're done talking, they're gonna say, hit that sub and, you know, hit the like. Like, it feels like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know where we go.
Like and subscribe.
Exactly.
You know, in boxing, we don't always get what, you know, as hardcores anyway, we don't always get what we think is right. But what makes money makes whatever. If it makes money, it makes sense, right? And I think that's why we're going to end up getting that Ryan fight, more probably with Raleigh. But if not, it's going to be Raleigh Tank, well, one or the other. But
yes,
do you think there's any legs to a Raleigh versus Ryan fight? Do you believe we're going to get that fight? And what are your thoughts on that?
Done deal. It's a done deal, man. When I listen to some of these guys talk, it's almost like they're regurgitating what was told to them in the meeting. In other words, so they probably said to him, you know, we're gonna get you a world title, and right after that, guess what? We'll get you that Ryan Garcia fight. We're gonna make you a pay-per-view star just like Tank. The whole spiel they probably gave him, sitting around the, you know, at the table with him and, you know, a lawyer or somebody, whatever, right? And he ate that shit up. So that's why he regurgitated that after the fight. I think. I mean, I wasn't there, but I suspect that. So someone must have been in his ear, right? And I don't know what Ryan's deal is with Golden Boy. I don't know the situation with his contract. I don't even know if his contract's up, right? For all we know, what if he jumps ship and goes to PBC?
You never know.
That's not out of the realm of possibility either, because that whole thing with Hopkins and De La Hoya. And a lot of negative press. People are still talking about that in interviews. And I heard Fernando Vargas being interviewed. And he kind of threw a little shade on De La Hoya today on the interview. He's like, you know, when you lose, you know who your real friends are. You know who people are going to stay with you and who's going to leave you, right? So don't be surprised. I mean, I'm not floating rumors out there, but I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Ryan leave Golden Boy and go over to PBC. I wouldn't be shocked. And I do think that's going to be next to that fight. And as crazy as it may sound, as much as I laugh at it now, and I laugh at a lot of fights, me being the degenerate that I am, you know, once the press conferences start, it'll be a big event. It'll be a pretty decent event, man. You know,
at least you're not a hypocrite.
And you know, Ryan will get some residual effect from that Tank fight, and then Raleigh's just so goofy and stuff. And once he starts talking, and they go back and forth, and then there's going to be you put the exchanges on TikTok. I could see a lot of casuals getting behind that fight, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that, and that's why I think there's a good chance of it happening. Quite frankly, especially if he jumps ship. I mean, I don't think Ryan's happy with Oscar. Someone's just telling me he's not.
Oh, he's not. He's not.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think so.
Also, that's how we're gonna know Ryan is the A side to Gervonta.
Well, there you go. Right.
That's a good point.
If Ryan fights the same guy that Gervonta fought, but it does better at the box office, then you'll know who the driving force was.
Yeah. No, I totally follow the logic. No. I'm
going to say something crazy.
Immediately. That's a great point.
I'm going to say something crazy. You may laugh at me. Ryan versus Raleigh, I think could do 800,000 pay-per-view buys.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I agree with you. I agree with you.
I'm not kidding around. The way
Rolly's retarded, man. Rolly's that guy that you send him to the store to get the Dutchess. You're like, yo, give me some Dutchess chopped cheese.
It's just wrong, bro.
No, but he has that appeal. Everybody has a Rolly on a block. Like everybody got a.
You're saying he's that dude from $1 Million Baby, the one that was getting beat up?
Yo, that's funny.
Eric and I, for months for months, Eric and I were laughing at that Mayweather-McGregor fight when it was announced. We were laughing at it. And then the closer it got, you're like, no, this is. And then we actually, like, with a month to go, we started watching the press conference. We actually got into it.
Yeah, I was in the. If you remember, Beeb, I was in the hospital when that fight happened, and
I remember.
I was watching on the phone, and all the nurses were all watching it with me. Like it was the craziest thing. They wanted to see McGregor Mayweather. It was crazy. But a slight tendency. Shout out, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. All right, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for the support. Bang Mateo, good to see you are so at it, Mario. There you go. Mario's still alive. The rumors that he's dead are not true.
I'm here.
All right. But look, we got one more here. B. Brian is training with Derrick James. What you think? Well, I think you answered that, but it's a super chat, so you gotta respond to it, B.
I don't think too much about it, to be honest with you. No disrespect to Ryan, no disrespect to Derrick James. I just don't think it's going to mean anything.
All right. And shout out to Lee Groves in the chat. Okay, an encyclopedia of boxing. Shout out to him. Look, man, I don't. Even though I agree, I don't know if it does 800,000. I think it'll do like 300,000 or something. But
no, I can see it getting to 5 for sure.
Look, 800 is a bit, but I could honestly 6. Yeah, that's realistic. And remember, 6 is more than it did with Gervonta. It is more.
Ring, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Ring. It's like when Mayweather fought De La Hoya, right? You get a little bit of rub from that.
Yeah.
Like, you get a little bit of rub because he did like 900 after the De La Hoya fight. And before the De La Hoya fight, he did like 370, right? Mm-hmm. So then he did the De La Hoya, got 2.4. Then he got 900 with Ricky. And Ricky was big too, but think about it, domestic. A lot of people didn't know Ricky domestically. So you get a little bit of rub from a big show. Like, you know, you can't.
Leonard's going to be insufferable if that happens, man.
Yeah,
Leonard Ellerby, oh my God, he's going to be
if you smell what Leonard is
even Tank, like, for instance, like, he'll probably do like 350, maybe 4 next time out. Like, you don't go all the way back down to where you started. You get a little bit of a rub from.
See, that I don't know, because if you told people, I always think about shit in terms of, am I going to buy it or not? And I'm just thinking, if Tank go in there and it's Isaac again, for example, bro, I'm not buying that shit. You bugging? Who? I'm not buying that bullshit.
You know what's crazy, Ring? It's like politics. You got Democrats, Republicans, and independents. So you got one side that will buy everything. You got another side that will stream everything. You're probably an independent. You're in the middle. Me, I buy everything. So they got me, but they got to earn yours. And certain fights, like this whole streaming thing, and D-Style talked about it. If you get the guys in between, you can get good numbers, because there are guys that will buy the right event. They only stream when they don't like the event. So, you know, this.
I don't know. Isaac again. It's just like it's a bad look. If in the last fight you did approximately 1.2 million, let's just go with the high number, and you go with Isaac after that, you follow that up with Isaac. It's very hard for me to imagine that you even do half of what you did before. Like, you're gonna do. Best,
Isaac's
200 and change at best, maybe 200, maybe close to 300, which is really right back where you were, and that's a bad look, because they want everybody to believe that Gervonta Davis was the driving force. I maintain it was fucking Ryan, bro. Right? You've been on pay-per-view 5 times. You never once did nothing close to them numbers. You add Ryan Garcia and his conditioner that he got in his hair, and all of a sudden you touching 1 million. All right, that's clear to me. That was Ryan. And if Ryan go in there with Rolly and he fight Rolly, it'll do way more numbers than Gervonta did with Rolly.
Ryan do look like those dudes in the beauty salon, so like in the posters and stuff. Like in the
For real, like you want that haircut or that haircut? Let me get the Ryan.
One good thing Ryan was doing, he was hitting the whole podcast scene. He was on everyone's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
He was on Bradley Martin's.
He was doing content with
he
everybody.
He knows who to court. Like, he knows where to go. He knows where the.
No, he's smart. He's smart. He knows how to promote all that.
He's a marketer. Ryan's a marketer.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think that you're right. And I think B put it the best, right? Because even though Ring, I agree with you, I think ultimately it does kind of work like a politics. Like Trump's going to get his votes. They're locked in and they're casted. Let's think of that in terms of fans. So if Gervonta went into the Ryan fight with X amount of fans that usually accumulate to around 150, 200,000 buys, then how many new fans did he make off of that? That's the question. Right. Those are going to be the people that bump it up.
We're going to find out.
Average up. We'll see.
My brother never saw Tank fight in his life, and he watched him because he doesn't know. And he goes, that guy's a killer,
and he'll never miss another fight.
He's on the phone. He's like, oh, that guy's the best. That guy's a killer because they don't know.
Say this: the bar is set exceptionally low from the first Cruz fight. So right. Anything is better than what you did before because you didn't fucking do anything. They didn't even release a ballpark figure for that particular fight to this day. So yeah, if you go in there with him again and you do 200,000 or 250,000, yeah, that's better than before, but that's still way less than what you did with Ryan, bro.
He may do 3 with Cruz again.
We'll see, bro. We'll see.
I wonder how many fans would even know.
I hope you don't fight Cruz again, though. I hope you don't fight.
So I want to say, before I say what you had a point, Mario, then we're gonna proceed. But go ahead.
Oh no! I was just saying, like, I don't even know, like, how many of these casual fans that are the people buying the fights would even know that's a rematch. Like, how many of these people just buy it because it's a Mayweather fight? How many of them buy it because it's a Tank, Tank, whatever?
I think he does 3 if he fights Cruz again. I think
it's a solid number. It's solid. I mean, that's kind of low rider numbers. I mean, yeah. But look, so nothing's official yet from what I see. But I just wanted to touch on this really quick. So Prograis, Paro from Australia pulled out injury. So Prograis and his team, Matchroom, they're basically saying, hey, we'll fight Barbosa, right? He called out Barbosa. Maybe Prograis talked a little bit of smack, but it is what it is. Barbosa talked smack back a little bit. So, but they're saying they're going to do the fight, right? Barbosa says he wants to write a mount. I don't know what that is, right? But Joe, let's start with you. Do you think this fight's going to happen? And do you like this fight? Do you like it better than the Paro fight?
100%. I think the fight's going to happen, and I actually like the fight a lot. I think it's a great fight, and I think given Barbosa's style, he's going to come right at him. Prograis, he doesn't shy away from it. He can go. He can fight you forwards, backwards. He's very versatile. I think it's a wonderful fight. I think it's a very fan-friendly fight. I don't think anyone will be disappointed in that fight after watching it, in my opinion. I think it's a great fight.
Ray, well, what are your thoughts so far? Nothing's official, but what are your thoughts on it?
We'll see, because Rick, I went to Rick's Twitter to see what his reaction was, and he already started talking the money shit. And I'm just thinking, like, what do you expect them to pay Arnold Barbosa to get him over there? It sounds like it just sounds problematic what he said, that, I'm not just going to take a pay cut. The numbers got to work. That's more or less what he was saying about it. I hope it happens. I think it's just as good, if not a better fight than the Paro fight. Same principle, southpaw versus southpaw. Arnold's big for 140. He's actually tall for 140. So it's a good dynamic between him and Regis. I still favor Regis to win the fight. I saw what Arnold looked like with Pedraza, and I wasn't impressed. But it is a good fight, and I hope it happens. But I'm riding the fence because Rick talking that money shit. It's like, bro, it's Arnold Barbosa, right? Like, it's fucking Arnold Barbosa. It's not Julio Iglesias. It's Arnold Barbosa. What the fuck are you expecting them to pay him?
Yeah, look, I know this before I pass it to Mario. A couple of weeks ago, or it might have been longer than that. The time is passing by quick for me, but there was the Barbosa Paro purse split, right? Or not the purse bid. I'm sorry. Matchroom won the purse bid, right? And then they're complaining about his split, but it's your own promoter lost the purse bid. So Matchroom thinks higher of you in terms of getting paid than your own promoter, apparently, by your logic, right? So all I'm saying is this, right? And yesterday, me and Callie did an interview with Roberto Diaz. A lot of these times, a lot of these fighters, they're used, they get quote unquote overpaid, although that's a controversial statement to make, but you are what you bring in, you are what you generate. And is Barbosa selling out arenas? Is he generating money that can justify him saying things like, I'm not worth that amount, right? And if he does, look, he has a right to, but then don't complain and don't say that Regis doesn't want to fight you. Because another thing he said that I don't feel he could possibly be right about, right? Is he told Regis, you should have signed with Top Rank because that fight was guaranteed to me if you signed. But that doesn't mean that. Joe, you wanted to touch on that?
No, that's not true at all. That's totally false.
Like Barbosa, you couldn't even get Teofimo. You were begging for that fight. You're under the same
promotion. Eso es lo que yo estaba diciendo, que Manin, you've been on the same side of the street as Teofimo for how long? Your fighter has been calling him out for over a year. And Teofimo didn't feel. So what's the guarantee? Like, what is y'all talking about?
Well, that's the pro. Oh, go ahead, B.
You can't put in a contract that you're guaranteed to fight somebody without somebody having a separate copy of a contract themselves. When you try to work a fight out, it's not your contract isn't going to guarantee you to have. They get a separate contract and you get your own contract. Like they know how this works, bro. Like they're grifting a lot of these people when they talk.
Rick is grifting. Rick is grifting.
He knows how.
I'm going to say it. Yo, bro, ain't nobody paying no arm and a leg to Arnold Barbosa, because if they were, then you would just like D-Style said, if y'all cared that motherfucking much, y'all would have won that purse bid, but y'all didn't, did y'all? That means that Matchroom put the value of your fighter greater than you did.
Here's the defense against that, though. It's not that I disagree with y'all, because Arnold Barbosa is 31 years old, and you got to shit or get off the pot. Here's the one thing, though. I went to go look at what Rick said, because it was very disappointing what Ring said, and I was, like, oh, that sucks. If you read it, what he's really saying here is that Regis wanted a tune-up. He was offering tune-up money to a tune-up, and Arnold Barbosa coming in, he doesn't want him to expect to take that kind of money. Now, I agree, Ring. I know that that's cap. I know that to a degree, what he's trying to do is set something up where he, all this works out in his favor, and it doesn't, and it blows up, and it looks like Regis is the one ducking. But at the end of the day, if his fighter, who's already on Twitter, he's retweeted it, wants the fight, that ball's in his court. If he passes, it's such a bad look. He's got to come in for the money, but at the same time, I agree he shouldn't just take whatever the replacement
Arnold is not Julio Iglesias, bro.
I agree,
okay, you ain't supposed to pay him an arm and a leg. He don't make an arm and a leg when he fight. Who he lying to?
But
you know what Rick is doing?
Seen, what's his name fight? Who Prograis was supposed to fight? Liam. I mean, not Liam.
I've seen that guy a couple of times. I've seen him knock out Brock Jarvis.
He ain't been on ESPN primetime like Barbosa.
You know what Rick is doing, though? This is what Rick is doing, because he's a professional. He knows better. He's trying to get the sympathy of the public. He's clout chasing.
Yeah.
He's clout chasing.
I agree.
He's trying to get the sympathy. He wants to get people on his side. So he's putting these tweets out there thinking, oh yeah, you're right, Rick. He should get what he needs.
But
it's backfiring.
It is backfiring.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, you can't go from you didn't sign a Top Rank because you ducking Barbosa and all these guys to you gotta pay me. Like, nah, fam. Like, come on now.
He knows better, bro. He's trying to like, he's thinking he's gonna get people on his side, and that's gonna drum up interest for the fight.
Yeah, but
see, you should pay me. See, the fans want this.
I never
it's
seen
a game, bro. It's a game.
I just never seen a narrative work this way when it doesn't even make logical sense. Like, I'm seeing people push the narrative. You should have signed with Top Rank. You should have. For what? So he could get a Ramirez fight?
No, ni Ramirez, porque si gana Teofimo, you know what's going to happen? Teofimo versus Ramirez. Neither one of those two would choose to fight Regis over fighting each other. So neither one of those two fights was guaranteed. The real reason Rick wanted him to go over there is to get Barbosa a title shot, because there's nobody over there, sorry to say, nobody over there care, bro. Like, Tio don't want to fight him. I don't even think Josh Taylor know who that man is.
That's quite true. Where are my manners, by So we have a lady in the panel. Lady Chantelle Cameron. Thank you. All right.
What up, though?
Lady Chan, it's been a while.
You know I'm late. Do you know what? I keep forgetting because the time changes. Because before there was a 6-7 hour difference, then it's gone to 6. Jules, I usually do Eastern Standard. So all this CT
Yeah, I'm confused. Too many time zone in it. Estados Unidos para mí.
Now, for those in the chat, go ahead and hit that like button, by the way. Hit the like. We're at 40. We should be at 75 by my vantage point.
What are we talking about? I can hear you guys talking about Barbosa.
So Lady Chan, Barbosa has been offered the Prograis fight, right? By Matchroom because Paro got injured. And it looks like it might happen, but we're kind of talking about the drama that they were talking about. It was kind of Barbosa said something like you should have signed with Top Rank and it would have been made, et cetera, et cetera. But you like that fight, Barbosa, Prograis?
Yeah, Barbosa will lose. But the thing with Barbosa, he will lose. I'm not that high. Well, Barbosa, he's a good fighter. He's big for 140. He's a big 140, but he's more with the cumulative shots. He ain't like a one-punch knockout geezer. Yeah. But I remember with Pedraza, what's the other guy? Zorrilla. That was a good fight. The Zorrilla, did you see that one? That was a good fight. Yeah. He had respectable power in that fight. But with Regis Prograis, we know, is the knockout guy. And he's the smaller guy out of the two, but I'd have Prograis wiping the deck with him. But is Barbosa still undefeated? Is it still the battle?
Yeah. Yes.
Prograis already got a loss. So
off his biggest win.
I just want to say one more thing about this whole thing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're they were telling Prograis, you must. I heard content creators say this to Prograis. Oh, you better sign. Just sign with Top Rank already. Exactly. Like, you guys do know, like they wanted like a 5-fight contract or something, and they just wanted too much, in my opinion. And not only that, Aram's already said to work with him and they'll make a fight happen. If it makes
he did an interview with Habib saying, "Yo, we'll sit down with Regis and do." I watched the shit. He's like, "Yeah, we ain't got a problem. Even if he go to Matchroom, we'll sit down and do a fight with him."
Rick went to my little Twitter. He went to my little Twitter handle, and just because I guess he didn't like the fact that I pointed out his boy already fought in Matchroom against Hooker when he was an undefeated champion. It's already happened, so it could happen again.
Yeah, I don't listen to nothing that Bob said. Shouts out to Beeb though, if that interview was good though. But Bob's just a damn liar anyway, and says one thing one day and stuff. But I mean,
you got to give him a pass. He's over 90 years old. You got to give him a pass.
No, but the other thing is, it's not like Arnold Barbosa is not Jose Ramirez. Not to say that the things that Rick says about Jose are entirely true, but to an extent, we all know that Jose does draw in the West. He can draw. He can. Yeah. Whereas Arnold, you don't have that, bro. So if Tszyu pulls this off, not that I think he's going to, but hypothetically, if he beats Josh Taylor, what do you think? He's going to fucking fight Regis? Or you think he's going to fucking fight Arnold? No, he's going to fight Jose. Him and Jose are going to seek refuge with each other, and Arnold gets left out in the cold. So beggars can't be choosy. Go to fucking Matchroom. You're getting a fucking title shot that you don't even deserve. Capitalize, all right? If you believe in yourself and you believe in your boxing, don't haggle, don't argue, go over there. Because if you don't, you know what's going to happen? You're going to fight Richard Comey. Or didn't he fight Richard Comey? No, he fought Pedraza. You're going to end up fucking fighting Comey, bro. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, man. Poor Comey. I mean, at this point.
Comey's the gate.
They're just passing Comey around like Comey.
Like a blunt, like a spliff.
Like
Comey.
Like a spliff. Oh my God.
He's the new gatekeeper, bro.
But let's get to the good stuff. We're gonna start off with DAZN afternoon on Saturday. Big fight card over there in Ireland, I believe Dublin, Ireland. Am I right about that? Is it Dublin?
Dublin, yeah.
Dublin.
I can't wait for this card. There's an undercard fight, very, very interesting fight. Terri Harper, Cecilia Braekhus for Harper's belt at 154 pounds actually.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe she jumped so many weight classes still, but so 154 pounds. Big fight here. Cecilia Braekhus is up there in age, but she has experience. She's the naturally bigger girl, right?
Who's she fighting?
Terri Harper.
Terri Harper from England, Lady Chan. Okay, I'm just saying.
WBA champ.
Against Cecilia Braekhus from Norway. I didn't even know Norway had boxers, but you know, it is what it is.
yeah.
I know. Ex-undisputed, Cecilia Braekhus. I think a lot of people don't put a lot of respect on her name.
And they should. And they should.
Yeah, she's a great boxer, pure boxer.
So start us off, Lin Chan. Who's going to win this fight?
I'm going to have to, desafortunadamente, I'm going to have to give it to, the younger bird. We're going to have to give it to Harper. Yeah. Unfortunately. Braekhus is about in her 40s now, isn't she? Yeah.
41.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Like, I know us women do age a little slower than you men, but still, mother time is undefeated. So we're going to have to give that one to Harper. She's strong at the weight. We've seen her clean that. Who's the girl clock that she cleaned at 154?
The Scottish one, Hannah Rankin.
Hannah Rankin cleaned her clock.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to think she's just going to be too strong and too young and virile. Like, yeah.
Okay. All right, okay. Ring, what's your how do you see this fight?
I think Jonathan Banks might end up pulling Cecilia out. Like she might get he might throw the towel. I saw what she looked like in her last fight. She looked very slow, very flat. There's no snap on her punches. Whereas this weight for Terri, it's a very good weight for her. She was always very big for 130, so she can carry that weight at 154. And not that I'm looking, but she got some big old thighs. That's where the power come from. The power's in the legs. She probably gonna hit Cecilia harder than Cecilia been hitting a very long time, and she might get a stoppage. She gonna be too quick, too strong, too young, too sharp. I got Terri.
Okay, right. Mario, what you got?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make this quick because I agree with everybody. I think it's gonna be Harper. I think that this is her movie. You know what I mean? She is trying to get back to the rematch she wants. To get that get back. And this is a fight she has to win. And I don't think she has to win it like impressive fashion necessarily to get that rematch. But I think for everybody to get behind it and really demand it the way she wants, she's got to do something special on Saturday. And I think she will.
All right. Joe Habib. I know you like underdogs. What you got?
I didn't even know that was Mario. Sorry, my bad. Without the beard. Shouts out.
Oh, yeah, I shaved it.
What up?
Yeah,
I think I'm a kid now.
I love underdogs. Braekhus is a plus 340 right now, but I can't find a path to victory. Like Ring said, she looks flat. She used to have that quick, snappy jab. She used to be able to keep her opponents at the end of those punches. She was such a real solid pro, but Father Time catches up with everybody. And Terri Harper's like Ring said, she's got great footwork. She goes in and out. She knows how to move in and out of the pocket real quick. Got quick hands, quick combinations, kind of like an ambush fighter a little bit. And
she's got big legs. That's going to be the problem.
Yeah,
she's big legs.
I think Braekhus is going to have a hard time pinning her down. I just think she's just going to have a hard time pinning her down. So I think it's going to be a very one-sided fight. Sorry to say.
Yeah. I think back to when the first time McCaskill beat her. I never seen a fighter lose but look so relieved like she looked. Like she looked very relieved. Like she looked like a fighter that was ready to just like, okay, I had a good career. I'm done. That's how she looked.
Yeah.
And she looked content. Like I remember in the back when McCaskill, because they always take the belts back, right? Because they mail it to them. And I remember Cecilia was like so happy for her, and I can't wait to see what you're gonna do. And she was talking like someone was ready to just call it a day.
She was talking like she was retired. Yeah, I remember that.
And I think that was it. I think at that time she knew the truth. And then her ego kicked in like it does with a lot of fighters. And she's like, no, I'm not done. I don't give a shit what my body told me. And she's trying to overcome something that's hard to overcome. When you're 40 and up, when you're close to 40, period, right? That's why like Katie Taylor and Serrano, I hope rematch sooner than later because their time is coming too, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So I just think you got to go with a younger fighter here, right? And she's confident because she called out Cecilia. So it's like she knows there's something there. She knows it's a name, right? I hope it's a good fight, though. We'll see. But I think Harper got it.
I think it's going to be a bloodbath, to be honest. I think it's going to be one of those fights that's hard to watch, like Ali Holmes or Ali Burbick. It's going to be one of those that you're like, damn, dog, I don't want to see her. Yeah, because she's old, man.
Because she's old.
Look, this is the thing.
Mid-rounds.
If you saw Shields versus, and I know this is going to sound crazy, if you saw Shields versus Rankin, and you saw Harper versus Rankin, Harper hurt Rankin more than Shields.
She did.
She hurt her more than Shields, and that was her first fight at the weight.
Yeah.
Now that she's used to it, that she had time to settle in, and everything is, she looks happy, she's glowing. I feel like, yo, she gonna fuck around and stop Cecilia. I think it's gonna be hard to watch.
Let me ask you this, Ring. Let me ask you this: Does it have to end this way for Cecilia to walk away? Because,
no, it shouldn't have.
No, but I'm saying, but she's gonna need something like this probably, and I don't say that.
Yeah, like it's a hot. I don't say boxing retires you type of thing. Yeah,
boxing's gonna have to retire her. In other words, because
there are fighters like that, bro. There are fighters that will keep fighting until somebody beats the shit out of them.
100%.
She's gonna need
probably
she'll need a loss like that to convince her that I can't go on. Is what I'm saying.
Like I think she knew after the first McCaskill fight. I think
that she was done.
She probably thinks that it boiled down. She probably thinks it boiled down to styles with McCaskill, and because Jessica has a very messy style. It's hard to deal with her, what I mean? So she probably thinks, oh, it was just styles with Jessica, and you gonna go in there with Terri, who is a bit more polished than Jessica. And the punches are going to be snappier, more accurate. It's not going to be slaps this time. It's going to be punches. And you going to feel them. And just like Beeb saying, like, this is what it's going to take for you to understand. It's time to go. It's time to go.
It's been 2.5 years since she's had a knockout, right? And Braekhus at the end of the day is seasoned, right? She's a veteran. This is going to be the real fight. Can she get beyond Cecilia trying to like make it to the end, right? To get that dignity win like John Ryder. Like, is she gonna be able to get beyond that and get those killer instincts, those tank killer instincts where she smells blood and she goes for the kill? That's the real fight we're watching on Saturday.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. There was a time when she was a bad motherfucker. All right,
absolutely.
That time. Like the joint, the French joint that beat the shit out of Holly Holm. Cecilia beat the fuck out of her. You know what I mean? The joint that knocked out Hannah Gabriel's, the Dominican joint, Oxandia. Cecilia beat the shit out of her. But
about 10 years ago, we should have had Holm versus Cecilia.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, but really quick, Nando Llamas, I appreciate the support, brother. Thanks for that. Pat Station, this pay-per-view with Caliber Cast. Well, we appreciate it.
You're the champ.
Thank you very much. There you go. That's $2 pay-per-view. There you go. All right. Look, obviously there's a the main event is one I'm really looking forward to, and we're talking about Cameron's putting her undisputed crown on the line against the undisputed champion just south of her in Katie Taylor. This is a homecoming fight. When Canelo had his homecoming, and I love Canelo, he fought John Ryder.
Really?
Right? She's going to fight the undisputed champion north of her in her homecoming. She didn't have to.
Love Katie, man. I love Katie, man.
She could have fought anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody would have given her shit because she's earned it, right? But, babe, what do you think of this fight? And who's going to win this fight?
I really like this fight. I think this is an excellent fight. And the odds are tight now. They're real tight. Cameron's like a plus 160 right now. It's tight. It's closing in. A lot of people are saying Cameron's gonna win this fight. I disagree. I'll tell you where Katie wins this fight, in my opinion. Cameron's another one. Quick feet. She's got a dart of a right hand from the outside. Very sharp puncher. Very sharp puncher. One thing I love about her too is when she moves, she can set her feet real quick and fire them shots off. Doesn't take her long to move and get set and fire, right? So it's hard to time her when you chase her and try to track her down. But Katie is very crafty. She knows how to feint, moves her head on the way in. She knows how to freeze you. You know, if you're a movie, she knows how to freeze you. And I'm going to say something kind of controversial. Maybe Ring can help me out with this because he watches a lot more women's boxing than me. I think Katie Taylor is one of the best body punches that in women's boxing. I mean, from what I've seen, I don't know.
I think she was, but she doesn't go to the body anymore. Like I agree with you that I in the beginning, in the first couple of fights, she was more of a body puncher than she is now. She's been a bit of a headhunter lately. So
yeah, I think in this fight though, she can pull that out of the old toolbox. But I think where she wins this fight is I think when she gets inside, I think Cameron's gonna have a hard time.
Yeah,
I think she's gonna try to cut that distance down. And like I said, she's good at feinting, freezing you. She's gonna I think she's gonna go with the body a lot in this fight. I think one key weapon for her is going to be that short left hook on the inside, right?
Okay.
So I think she's going to outwork Cameron on the inside. I think she's going to wear her. I'm not going to say she's going to stop her, but she's going to make it a rough fight for her on the inside and kind of grind her down and slow her down and take those legs away from her. And I don't think Cameron's going to be able to move as much as she'd like to in this fight. So I'm going to go with Katie with a hard fought unanimous decision here.
Okay, all right. Mario, who do you got in this fight, brother?
Listen, I'm just going to make it simple. I'm going to pick Taylor. I'm going to pick Taylor because she's been a winner. She's been a winner since the amateurs. She's been a winner since the pros. We've seen her in the trenches. We've seen her in tough fights. We've seen her, in rounds and fights where she had to show adversity. I think the popular pick is Cameron, right? She has become a boxing darling, and you've seen the evolution of that over the last few years. I think that she made a lot of fans in the bubble. Like she has been one of the people in boxing that's just kind of gone out there every time and she just makes new fans, she's going to be stronger. I think she's definitely got the reach, but it's the jab. Like, just like Beeb said, that's the way he analyzed that's perfect. Absolutely. And that's going to be the test that we're going to have to see Taylor come, away with. That said, I just think that Taylor's more crisp. I think she's more polished. I think coming off that Amanda win was huge. And I'll be honest, the biggest thing for me is that if you're Cameron, you have to win this fight like 8-2, right? Like, how are you going to get the decision in there? So you're either knocking out Katie Taylor, who, that's a tough order, or you're almost shutting her out. And, both of those things sound, much harder to me than Taylor just winning.
Ring. Who you got in this fight? How do you see it? Man, let me ask this. Like, do you think there's going to be do you think the fact that it's in Ireland favors Katie or not?
Of course it does. I mean, of course it does. 100. Of course.
What about the pressure?
This is the thing. Maybe it'll bother Chantelle on the ring walk, but it's muscle memory. Once you're in that ring and that bell sounds, you're on. You'll forget the other stuff. You're on once the punches start to fly. But the main thing that's working against Chantelle is, well, one, your punches are wider than Katie's in the pocket. That's a problem because if your punches are wider, she can slip them, she can counter them. I don't actually think Chantelle is faster than Katie in the pocket, which means she is going to beat you to the punch. You got good legs. She's got good legs, but she's seen more of you than you've seen of her. She's fought big punchers before. Jessica McCaskill, Delphine Persoon, Amanda Serrano, Natasha Jonas. She's been in with big punchers. But how many fighters like her have you seen? I think it's going to be like Katie slowing down the fight, making Chantelle miss. I think the fight will probably start to wear on Katie towards the tail end of it. But I would say Katie on points. Katie on points or a draw. Chantelle don't win that fight.
All right.
She don't win that.
Lady Chan, are you going to roll with a girl from England? You know what I mean? Are you going to support? Who do you got?
Katie Taylor. I got Katie Taylor. It's going to be tough. Chantelle Cameron, yet again though, but Chantelle Cameron is the bigger girl, the younger girl. I do feel that Katie's on a bit of she's on the slide. But like Jules said, she's seen more of the Camerons than the Camerons have seen the Taylors, and you have to just put 2 and 2 and come up with 4. This is going to be in Ireland. There's no way, there's no way that Katie Taylor loses after, being the girl that it was banned in Ireland to be a female fighter. She had to pretend that she was a boy to go into the AMI clubs in Ireland. So then she's never gonna. It's gonna be like how Canelo couldn't really have lost in Guadalajara the other day. It just wouldn't. You'd have to have knocked him out twice.
Chantelle would have to win 11 rounds. 11 out of the 10.
Yeah, Chantelle will have to wash her, knock her out, resuscitate her, give her mouth to mouth, get her up again, knock her out again for her to get that decision. And that's where I will leave it. It's Katie Taylor all day and twice on a Sunday.
Million dollar question. Is this going to be a controversial decision or what do you think?
Because I feel that it's going to be split.
You think so?
I feel that it's split.
I believe people do that to Katie because people don't like winners. You know, like it's kind of like how Canelo could go in there with John Ryder, and he dominated John Ryder. You understand? He dropped him 2 times. He broke his nose in the first 3 rounds. It's not enough. Now for Katie, I feel that their styles are similar enough that the fight will be close. The rounds will be close, and Katie will get the same acknowledgement that any other fighter under those circumstances would get, and people are going to act stupid like they don't fucking know any better. It's like Parker versus Ruiz. Yeah, if the fight was in America, Ruiz would have won. But the fight was in New Zealand, so Parker won. And I'm cool with it because, that's boxing, bro. If you don't like it, grow the fuck up. Because that's boxing.
You think it's going to be unanimous? Because I feel that it's going to be split.
It might be a split.
Yeah,
look, you guys think the fight's going to be close? Then you don't think that Katie's going to win?
It's not going to be a wash.
But I don't know scorecards. Like that's a tough thing to really. You know
but here's my thing, though.
Boxing, we know what we know.
I think that there's like I've talked about this with Calix. He halfway agreed with me, and I've talked about this with Joe. I think there's a phenomenon happening right now, right? That was not a thing before. That there's like a social media effect with the judges. I do think these judges know that their names are out there. They know that people will find them. They'll put the pictures out there. They'll shame them, and they don't want to be known as a judge that screwed over Cameron, right? They don't want to be the judge that like, how could he possibly have done all that, right? Now, granted, I'm not saying it still doesn't happen, but it does offset a little bit of the, I guess, if you want to call it corruption, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but also remember that Katie is not in unfamiliar territory. Katie and Chantelle have fought before at least 3 or 4 times, and Katie won all of those. So she has a mental edge. When she decided to fight Chantelle, she knew who she was going after.
Sure.
She knows what the fuck it is. The same way Artur knew what he was going after with Vosdick. He used to kick him up and down the block in the amateurs. A lot of those guys, Artur used to beat their ass. So another thing is, it doesn't have to be controversial. I just think that people that want something to be polarizing will make it polarizing. Katie Taylor gets hate, unfortunately, which is bizarre because the woman barely talks. But she gets hate from anybody that wants Clarissa to be number 1. And it's just that kind of deal. Like that's just what it is. Like, and there's no, I could sit here and have a whole fucking argument about it, but you're not going to convince them. As long as Katie struggles, irrespective of why, they're always going to try to take her down a peg without acknowledging they're like, yo, dog, Clarissa's great. No doubt about it. But her resume don't come close to this, ladies, man. You got 13 fights. She has 22. Y'all debuted in the same year. She's
Well, here's the other thing, though. The other thing that's very important to note is when I don't think people actually look at the weight classes and the participants in them, because it's not like the men's. Like in the men's, the middleweight have like 1,000 men. Like, and that's not the case with the women. There's a couple dozen. Like there's just more competition in Katie Taylor's weight classes. There's like Cameron is better than anybody, maybe besides Marshall. I'll say that debatable.
Marshall, yeah, I would say that, and you're talking about being number 1 out of 23 girls versus being number 1 out of 150 or 200. It's just like Jaime said. Jaime Munguia, Mario Munguia.
We used to call that on the boxing place all the time. We used to call him all the time.
But it's just like he said it, that depth matters. It's hard to win a belt at lightweight. It is hard to win a belt down there. It's easier to win a belt at middleweight and super middleweight because there aren't as many people to fight. Common sense.
Hey, yo, I want to make one real quick point. If y'all haven't seen the Air movie, the Jordan shoe movie about Nike and them signing Jordan, it's a great movie. You should check it out. It's on Prime right now. But there's this line, and it reminded me of what Ring said. And basically, he's talking to Jordan, and he's telling him, like, you're going to be great, and they're going to love you because they want you to be like everything we ever imagined greatness could be. And then they're going to turn on you because then when you become great, it's like, nobody wants that anymore from you. And everybody, and that's exactly what happens. Exactly. LeBron, Kobe, Mike, like just go down the line, no matter what sport.
They build you up to tear you down, bro. They build you up to tear you down.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Hey, Mario, Tyro Carnal to fight somebody, bro? Like, what's going on?
He ain't invited to Thanksgiving.
I'm waiting for your brother to fight somebody, bro. You know what I mean?
He ain't invited to Christmas, bro. I'm just telling y'all.
No, but anyway,
fighting Sergey, bro. Lay off the guy.
And let's talk about the ESPN card. We have a full day of boxing, by the way. Just putting that out there.
It's gonna be badass.
The ESPN card. There's an undercard. I just want to get you guys' quick predictions if you have one. Andrew Moloney will be fighting for. He's gonna try to get another world title against Junto Nakatani. Who wins this fight? In your opinion?
Junto by KO. Junto.
By KO. Man.
KO. Junto, not the motherfucking Tani, bro. That's a bad motherfucker.
You don't think he can get outboxed by Moloney? Moloney's he's gone at it with like Franco. Franco's a good fighter. We saw Franco.
It's hard to imagine he's gonna go 12 and something hard don't get in. And Junto was big for the weight. He was big down there, and he's tall enough that he's going to carry that weight. He's going to carry that power. He's young. He's unbeaten. And I don't think Andrew's going to go 12 rounds and he don't get hit hard. No fucking way, bro. Junto got that guy, man. Junto got that.
Is he coming off a win, though, Moloney? They're the brothers, isn't it?
Yeah, they both are.
Yeah, they are.
Who's the last geezer he just fought?
He beat Jimenez back in October.
Yeah.
Who?
Jimenez. I can't. What was it? Beto?
Jimenez.
Yeah.
Beto or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Mario, who do you got, brother? Who do you got in that fight?
Man, I'm going Nakatani. I don't know if he knocks him out because Moloney can be evasive, right? Yeah. I've seen Moloney fight in person. I've seen him train. I've covered him a really long time. I like him. I like the family. They're nice. There's a lot to like about them. There's a lot to want to root for them, but I just never have seen anything ultra special in him. And I think that it's going to take something special to beat Nakatani. I mean, this is a guy who really is starting to build momentum. I mean, you can say that he's, already building it, and I agree, but it's really now starting to take flight. I mean, a win like this puts him in a good position to make 2024 something that he could really leave a stamp on. You know what I mean? Really put him in that world-class opportunity, but we'll see. I do think Nakatani takes it, though.
Man, you guys are starting to scare me now. What's going on? I'm like, I need a rosary. I'm gonna take out a rosary for Andrew. Right? Hey, Shoe Shine. We're doing a quick prediction. If you have one for Andrew Moloney versus Junto Nakatani.
I do, brothers. Junto Nakatani by late stoppage. This is going to be his fight to really make himself well known internationally as a 2-division Japanese champion. I think arguably he might be the second best Japanese fighter out there right now. I think he's going to get to showcase that Saturday night.
Taraji, bro. No, it's not better than Taraji, bro. Kenshiro Taraji is a bad motherfucker. That's a bad motherfucker.
You guys pointed out he's got the attributes to go even further than junior bantamweight, even up to bantamweight. So this is just the first step on that course. I think he's going to stop Moloney, and it'll be a great fight. It's going to be a really good fight.
So Lady Chan, you want to ride with me, or we're going to go with Andrew? We're going to go with the Australian, or what? You're going to... Because Breed's going to ride. He's my brother. He's got to do it.
No can do. Going with Nakatani. Stoppage. Late rounds, probably about round. Go for just pre-championship rounds, probably about round 9. Because that little one over there, he can be a bit slippery, and when he gets a bit more slippery once you try to pin him down, he stops throwing shots and starts backpedaling, and he's on his bike. I think he'll get stopped by like round 9. Yeah, I'm afraid.
Damn.
Yeah.
Beep, does he at least go with this is beep? Like, what's going on? What do you got?
You know, it's tough because sometimes he goes into survival mode. I do notice he does, like Lady Chen said, he does kind of go into survival mode. But the pressure is going to be just too tough this time. I don't think he finishes.
Okay, so Junto by stoppage.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right, and yes, that was my office phone, not Mario. That's what that was.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was my headphones.
Oh, that's funny. So anyway, let me tell you guys something. All right, and we'll start with you, Mario, on this one. The main event. Devin Haney. Devin the Dream. Haney will be facing Vasyl Lomachenko. Loma says his last chance to accomplish Undisputed. Can he get the job done? Or will the young champion retain?
Yeah, listen, this has been tough to talk about this week. This is like talking politics over the dinner table at Thanksgiving. You're losing friends over your decision at this point. I'm picking Devin. I think he wins. I've been a fan of Loma since the moment I saw him, since the moment I started watching his World Series of Boxing fights. When I saw him fight, I knew he was special. You could just see it. Like Shakur, same thing. You see it and you're like, whoa, I don't know what the eye test is worth, but this one's worth a lot to me. But that said, you have the fact that hasn't been in the ring as long as he has. He's been dealing with a war in his country. And he's not even in the weight class for which I think he's always been the best suited. You know what I mean? Like he's always seemed undersized at it. And I'm not gonna say like that's been a big factor in his fights. I mean, he wins, but ultimately that's something that does favor Haney, who is, a couple of pounds away from just being a full-fledged junior welterweight. I think it's going to be size. I think it's going to be ability. Youth. I think it's going to come down to all those things. But I think bottom line, you're looking at two world-class elite fighters, and this should be perceived as nothing less than a 50-50 or a 60-40 in either guy's favor. This is a close fight. This is a career fight, and this is one that should be like a Super Bowl thing. That's what Haney said, and it feels like that within the context, not within reality, because that was more Tank Garcia. But I just think that the right time now is Haney. Maybe Loma does beat him 3-4 years ago, before the franchise, before the email titles, before all that stuff, right? And if he would have got him young like Mayweather did Canelo, that could have happened, right? I think you've let Haney get too good, and you've let too much time pass. And at this point, it is Haney in the driver's seat, and he is now writing his story. This is where it begins. This might be where Loma's ends.
Damn, okay. Lady Chen. Old line, young line, who we got?
Mario just said, I know it sounds easy, but everything that I believe. Listen, if this fight was 3 years ago, and when it was supposed to happen, when they was going through their back and forth, and then Loma franchise, I would have had, like I said, Loma all day, every day, twice on the Sunday. We're back to the same old mantra, father time. I will be rewatching and point scoring Loma's fight with Jermaine Ortiz, because listen, that fight was close. Jermaine Ortiz did give Loma the business as well. Devin Haney, too big for the weight, bursting at the seams. Defensively sound, his offense, but all round fundamentally sound fighter. Lomachenko as well, but I just don't see how. And Loma's always the little guy that beats the bigger guy, because like Mario said, he's always been the smaller one, especially in 135, and this is his absolute limit. He won't be going to no 140. I just don't see how he's gonna be able to pin down Devin Haney and launch off all of those shots. I don't know. Maybe we will see chess, where we'll be able to see that if the Matrix will be in the Buddhism, because with Ortiz, it was a bit in the Buddhism. With Tszyu, we saw no Matrix at all. So I'm waiting. I can't wait for this fight. I'm so excited, but I have to have Devin Haney, and will I be unanimous? I think it's going to be unanimous, and I'm leaning with Devin Haney. It's 60-40. for sure.
Okay.
And Devin's got too much to lose. He's worked too hard, and he ain't going to let Loma come and take it. I'm afraid at this age. Sorry.
All right, Joe Habib, what you got?
Beeb's got Loma.
It's funny because hearing a lot of the insiders overwhelmingly pick Haney in this fight, but anecdotally, just talking to people, there's a lot of people picking Loma. And I can't really dismiss a lot of things they're saying, because the people that are picking Loma are making good points. They're making good arguments. There is a path to victory for Loma. I just don't think it's going to happen. Haney is tall, and we've talked about Lomachenko always being the smaller guy and fighting the taller, longer guys. But the thing about Haney is really knows how to maximize on his physical advantages. He knows how to use every inch of that reach advantage that he's going to have. He knows how to use that. He knows how to capitalize that. I think he's got a very active, accurate jab. The big thing, too, a lot of people are saying is, well, he doesn't pop like Tszyu did, so maybe Loma won't lay back as much, and he won't sit back and collect the data or whatever they say that he likes to do.
Download.
Because the download, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because he won't be wary of the right hand that he was with Tszyu, because perception is that Haney can't crack. But one thing with Haney, though, is I think he's faster than Tszyu, right? I think he's taller and longer than Tszyu, and he's got good timing, and he's got good defensive reflexes. And I think a guy that's going to give Haney problems is a guy who can fight on the inside. And Loma's more of a mid-range guy. He doesn't like to really go deep in the pocket, right? So I think this is going to be a frustrating night for Loma. I don't think he's going to be able to get inside. I think he's going to get, picked apart from the outside in this fight. And I think Haney will win a comfortable decision. I see him winning a comfortable decision.
All right, Ring.
I haven't decided yet. To be honest. It would be easy to go with Devin just because he's younger and he's fresher. But I want to watch them one more time. I'm going to do that tomorrow before I make my official pick. But the main thing with Devin is Jojo Diaz got inside. Linares landed. You're not untouchable. You get touched. You do get touched. And I just think that your money punch being the jab, which is what stops me from picking him, your money punch is the jab. You don't have a hard right cross. You don't have a sharp left hook or a mean uppercut. You're no good on the inside. Whenever you try to fight on the inside, you get hit and you get woozy. That's what's preventing me from picking him. That I'm like, is he going to go 12 rounds and nothing happens? This is not Lopez, you understand. You don't have the power to keep him honest. You don't. You didn't have the power to keep Jojo honest. You didn't have the power to keep Linares honest. And he's chinny as hell. Abdullayev just knocked him out in Russia. A lot of guys knock out Linares. That's kind of what prevents me from just saying Haney, because it would be easy to pick Haney because he is the betting favorite. A lot of the experts are picking Haney, but I'm like, I don't know. The experts don't always get it right. So I just got to watch that Jermaine Ortiz fight one more time before I say, okay, this is how I feel. Because Jermaine Ortiz, to me, being honest, and I saw him leading up to the fight, it's like, yo, this kid's great on the inside. Any turns with the guy? Devin, I never seen you deal with none of that. And also, I think people are reading too much into the Jermaine Ortiz fight in the sense that, that's his old sparring partner. They know each other. If he struggled, it's because this guy knows him. He's dealt with him to a degree.
Yeah.
Devin,
and it was coming off the layoff.
Yeah, much different. It's a much different style too, Ring. Jermaine Ortiz.
It's hard. It's just hard to say. Yeah, Devin's gonna jab him and grab him, because if Devin's got a path to victory, it's causing Loma to simmer down. Like, due to Loma, what you do to guys. And what do you do to guys? You keep them at arm's length. If they get in, you tie them up, force them to reset, get them back out there, touch them with jabs. You're going to do that to Loma. Not because Loma's special. This is different, fam. This is different than fucking George Kambosos. Yeah, it's a different set of challenges. And I'm just trying to work it out in my head. What is he going to do? He's going to jab him and grab him. That's it.
Yep. Pretty much.
I mean,
pretty much. little sneaky right hand in there every now and then, but little sneaky right hand in there every now and then. It's not going to be pretty, Ring. I mean, this ain't going to be something. This ain't going to be something. This ain't going to be something that you're going to be like going to your DVR and watching again, bro.
Go ahead, Lady Chan.
Loma trains in wrestling, so you're not going to just be able to be clinching.
I was about to say that.
Like that. You won't be able.
Good point. Very good point.
So let me. I'm going to give my thoughts, but let me go to Shoe Shine first. Dave, what do you got in this fight, brother?
You know, the more I ponder on this thought, on Monday I went with Haney. But when I think about the path to victories and all the tools that Lomachenko has to actually win this fight, I'm almost like torn to be 50-50 and willing to put money on Loma for the upset. Now, I think Devin Haney has the much easier path to victory. But that being said, Devin Haney got outlanded in the jab, according to CompuBox, by Jojo Diaz. So, you know, and also let's think about Lomachenko.
Land that jab.
Lomachenko fights very effectively out of the clinch. So how much are we going to see Saturday night? Devin Haney being successful using the clinch to his advantage with Lomachenko's. I mean, he's kind of an expert of fighting out of the clinch, and he can actually punish you coming out of that clinch. There's a lot of tools that Lomachenko has to win this fight. Who will win the step step shuffle, the lead foot battle? Who's going to win that? That being said, this fight it's up to Devin Haney if he wants to lose this fight. I could see him comfortably winning rounds 1 through 5 and picking up a few in the late part of the fight. Is how easy or how hard does he want to make this night for himself? You know, yeah. I do think ultimately Devin Haney is going to prevail and win this fight Saturday night. I won't be surprised, and I'm actually going to put money on Loma for the upset because I think he's got the tools. But will he show up? I think it's really Devin Haney's the beginning of his era.
Look, I've been saying this for a while, so because everyone gets compared to Floyd, right? And let me just put it, Haney's no Floyd. I'm just going to put that out there 100%. He's not. He's closer to Corey Spinks, in my opinion. All right? That's what he is. Okay, now people, how could you say that? Corey Spinks was a unified champion. I believe he was undisputed champion, but he lost to a guy called Zab Judah. Judah had the speed and he had power to match it. Okay? There's a reason he lost that fight, right? So here's what I'll say. The clinching, I don't think it's going to be a factor like people think. In fact, I think the Haneys know it's not going to be a factor because that's what they're bringing up, the hitting at the breaks. That's why they keep bringing that up, right? They keep bringing that up because I don't know. They're trying to maybe part of it just talk shit and mess with his head a little bit, and also just put it out there for the ref, or they'll probably be telling the ref in the dressing room, "Oh, watch out when he hits on the break." And okay, but you're going to be the one initiating the holding because you always initiate the holding. In fact, they got to the point where ESPN had an initiated holding count, right, in the rematch, right? And Haney's fans are getting mad. Why did they ever do that for anybody else? Well, he does initiate clinching. We can't praise him for all the great clinching and get mad when we have a clinching counter, right? But here's the thing. Lady Chat pointed out the wrestling. This guy is from Eastern Europe, bro. He's done sambo, he's done judo. Okay, he's done freaking wrestling. He's ready for all that. It's very similar to like Crawford. Crawford knows how to handle a dude. When Jeff Horn tried to do all that holding shit, he had an answer for it. Loma will have an answer for it. He is a shorter guy, right? Than Haney, similar to Canelo. Like it was hard for Caleb Plant to grab Canelo, and if anything, Canelo used it against him. Right? And in this case, while you're trying to hold, that's why he's going to hit you on the quote-unquote break, because you're going to be trying to hold. You know what he's going to be doing? The only legal thing could strike in boxing, punch you. He's going to be punching you, and you're going to be complaining, right? Here's another thing. I believe in psychological warfare, and I believe that people tell on themselves a lot of times of what they're thinking about, okay? I just saw Devin Haney on a podcast talking about, why are people making a big deal about losing? I mean, losing is not that big of a deal. Floyd kind of ruined the sport if you think about it. I mean, look at it. Asenya, he lost. He's bigger and better than ever. How do you go from losing doesn't matter, right? How do you, when just 2 years ago you're saying you're never going to let a white boy beat you? How do you go from one to the other? And now losing is not a big deal. It's not that big of a deal if I lose. You're talking about losing. You know who doesn't talk about losing? Canelo doesn't talk about losing.
I saw him go on another podcast and saying when they tried to ask him about losing, Devin Haney saying, "Listen, don't talk to me about no losing because I'm not."
That's what I mean. Like especially like you're in war. I remember Bernard Hopkins at the lead up to fights would be like, "This is war right now. I ain't like don't even talk to me about if this guy's gonna beat me. I have a mission. Okay, I have tunnel vision right now. This kid don't have tunnel vision." Right now, he may win because he's talented. Right, talent could overcome all those things. Right. Yeah. But he's thinking about it. He's never thought about losing. I don't think he ever thought he was going to lose to Cambozas. I don't think he thought he was going to lose to JoJo. I don't think he thought he was going to lose to Linares.
Y mira, esta es la otra cosa. Él se está matándose. He's killing himself to make 135. You're talented enough to beat the Cambozoses of the world. You're talented enough to beat the Linareses and the Diazes of the world while you're killing yourself. We have to admit this is a little different than that.
It is. And I want to mention this. There's a margin of error in every boxing fight. When he fought Teofimo Lopez, he knew he didn't have that big of a margin of error because Teofimo was bigger. He could punch. Haney can't punch. Haney couldn't knock out Gamboa. Okay? He couldn't even knock him down. Gamboa's been down like almost 20 times in his career. He couldn't knock out Linares, there's a multiple choice on how to knock out Linares. You could knock him out early with a one punch, with a body shot.
They pull out a Scantron before the fight. ABC was it a body shot?
Yeah, you could stop him by cuts. He didn't cut him. He didn't stop. You know what happened? He hurt him. Right? So when I keep hearing he's going to wash Lomachenko, I think you guys are crazy. If he does, I'll praise the dude. But he didn't wash Dojo. He didn't wash Linares. He didn't wash any of those dudes. If that's a wash, that shit had a lot of stains in it still. Right?
Yeah, I don't know, champ.
Both guys, they're still cagados because let me tell you something. That wasn't a good wash.
Linares was the guy that hurt him. Linares nearly had him out.
No,
Lomachenko instantly disposed.
That was three fights ago. It's not like the weight 3 fights later gets easier to make. That was 3 fights ago.
No, and I don't like
him. It didn't get easier to make, did it? And what he's coming off of Ramadan.
And none of us thought. Everybody was. Even I was thinking, okay, this is the fight where Haney's going to get his knockout, right? It didn't come. The Gamboa fight, same thing.
Not anybody else since 2019.
Gamboa's reflexes were shot. This dude's been down 15 times. You couldn't knock him out. I saw him load up on uppercuts.
He hasn't knocked anybody out for 4 years.
Look, Lady Chan, I saw him load up on an uppercut and hit Linares with it. Linares just ate it. And I'm like, how Linares is eating your shot? So what I'm saying is, Loma knows he has a big margin of error to work with here. Right, which is why he's not going to be downloading data or none of that. I think he's going to be more aggressive in this fight.
He's going to rush him. He's going to pivot off to the side, try to hit him in the
southpaw position.
Rush him.
Come on, y'all think he's everybody go out there and rush the bigger guy?
Yes.
Can I explain why?
Nakatani was big.
Can I explain why? Last fight being a loss. Go ahead.
One. He's going to dart off to the side the way he always does. The reason he does that pivot is to hit a guy in the blind spot so his jab comes over the top of the other guy's jab. I think he's going to do that, not because he wants that jab to land. He wants that punch to the solar plexus to land, that one down the pipe, the one down the middle. And the goal isn't, I'm going to just hit him hard with one punch over the top. No, it's to get close to him, close enough to him to exchange. That's what I think he's going to do, and I do think he's going to rush him. I think he'll start to do that probably round 3 or 4. It's too hard. It's too hard for me to imagine that the whole fight is going to be jab and Nah, I don't. I really don't see that.
You think he'll fight? You think he'll be able to get? You think he'll be able to get out of those clinches? Is what you're saying? Or you don't even think he'll? You don't think you think he'll be able to outmaneuver his way around?
I'll go as far as saying that there's something that you guys aren't factoring into the equation that I can't ignore. The last time, this is supposed to be Devin Haney's final fight under his existing top-ranked contract, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, what lightweight are they actually invested in besides these two?
Shakur.
Is Devin going to fight Shakur?
No.
Probably not, because he's going to move up.
Right.
He's going to go to Matchroom.
Now, guys, will Lomachenko fight Shakur?
Yes.
Now, what happened to Manny Pacquiao under the final fight under Top Rank? That was the final fight of his.
They don't say the fix is in.
Not the fix. I don't want to call it a fix because that's too polarizing. But it's
you know what I'm saying though. I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm insinuating.
It's like when Bret Hart was going to go to the WCW. They weren't going to let him take the WWE belt over there.
That right there is a fire ass metaphor.
Hey, but let me just say this though.
WWE belt to the WCW.
Exactly.
Speaking of, hold on. Well, hold on. Let me just, because I just want to finish my thought.
I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, yeah,
Speaking of because Bret Hart was the excellence of execution. He was.
100.
And I think Lomachenko might be the excellence of execution. And besides that one fight where he was downloading data for too long, but aside from that, okay, he's been the excellence of execution. I've never gotten a Lomachenko fight wrong. I predicted Tszyu to beat him. I predicted Lomachenko to beat him. I'm sorry, Cecilia to beat him. Right. This one's tough. It's tough, all right? I do think he's going to give Haney a lot of problems. I might even have him winning. This is what I believe is going to happen. I'm going to have Loma winning on my scorecard because I know he's not going to be able to land that jab just like he could have landed on JoJo. And this dude's a lot faster than JoJo, okay? He's going to have problems with it. I think he's going to have a field day with a long torso just like he did with Linares. Okay, he's going to have a field day with a long torso of Haney. But Haney does. I think Haney will still do things to make it close. I still think he's crafty enough for there to be close rounds. I think we're going to have a controversial decision. It might go Loma's way. Ring, you might be right. I just have a feeling the decision's going to go to Loma, but my scorecard is going to say Lomachenko 7-5.
No, it won't.
So you think Haney will get the decision, but you'll have Loma up.
Yeah, I've got
very possible.
Listen, I think we've seen all that we can see with Lomachenko. He's 35. That's geriatric in that weight division. That's mad old.
I'm hedging, but hey,
we just saw a 40-year-old guy beat up a young man in Las Vegas last weekend.
This is the thing. No, wait a minute. This is the thing.
That people like to go with exceptions to the rules. That's why they're the exceptions.
Let me say this. Linares is not Lomachenko, and Linares was getting in, man. That's my problem, all right? If you cannot get Linares', and that was a couple of fights ago. Okay. JoJo don't have a lot of power, but I seen how you look when he was hitting you. I didn't like that shit.
I like Devin's mental fortitude. And I saw it pushed when he had to do the Australia, thinking that his dad wasn't going to come there. I've seen him come into his manhood. I've seen, he's never fought anybody like Lomachenko. But listen, I saw the difference between Kambosos 1 to Kambosos 2. Devin started fast. Devin was the aggressor and Kambosos tried to do a million feints an hour and just fucking fucked himself up. But I saw a difference between just those two fights. So don't think that you think that Devin is going to be the slower starter or he'll just keep a certain rhythm. I know Devin knows that he cannot go into this fight like that. So he may surprise everybody and be the aggressor and bang
be his best performance ever, I think.
I could definitely see that. And here's the other thing about it, right?
It's going to be his breakout performance.
Exactly. And so many people have been talking about that they think Loma's going to win, but if Haney does, it's time to give him his flowers. It's time to put him top 5 pound for pound, like all these things. Let's think about that for just a second, okay? If Haney does get this win, then there are going to be moments in this fight where he does show a different level or another D, like as in 2D, 3D, 4D. If he is that guy, then those types of fighters, the elites, show us something different when their back's against the wall, and then we learn who they are later, right? When they're already pay-per-view stars and all that. So are we waiting for that moment? It's going to come down to that. So if Haney beats him, that's exactly how he's going to beat him.
Yeah, I think this is going to be his breakout fight. I think Loma's going to have a hard time getting past the jab. And I do think when he does get close, I mean, he's not going to go all the way in though either. Like he doesn't go deep in. Like he's a mid-range guy.
You know what's going to happen, Beeb?
But he did a little bit against Linares though.
You know what's going to happen? He's going to dart off to the side. He's going to hit the pivot, try to come over the top. Devin's not going to engage. Devin's going to take a half step back. Lomachenko's going to come forward flurrying. But what happens if that keeps happening?
Well, I'll tell you what happens.
I'll tell you what happens. He's the busier fighter. You lose the round.
I'll tell you what happens, though. I think what you're overlooking possibly is Devin's foot speed and his quickness. Because when you pivot, right, we're always taught, the guy pivots on you, you face him. You pivot with them.
He'll turn with him.
He'll turn with him, and he'll face him, and the angle won't be there anymore.
No, listen to me. I'm banking on Devin turning with him. I'm saying when you turn with him, it's going to be a punch coming. You not maybe you land, maybe you don't, but he's gonna fluster you with that one. He turns,
You're
turn.
You're taking the angle away from him, Ring. He's trying to turn and catch you on the blind spot. When you front him, you'll be there to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I see a left
And if he's got something coming
this
back.
Is what I see. This is what I see.
Right.
He'll dart off to the side. It's this one you got to watch out for, the left. I see that left landing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will. It will.
See that left and I'll tell you what else I see, Beeb. I see Devin getting knocked down. I don't know about out.
Right.
I believe he's gonna get knocked down.
I can see a flash. I can see a
Explain
flash.
something to you though. If he pivots and he turns with him, he's gonna have to reach with the left hand. The only punch that's gonna be really there for him when he pivots is the right hook.
Yeah, he's gonna turn. Yeah.
He won't be able to do the left. You may have meant that. I don't know. Is that what you meant? Maybe the right hook.
Yeah, when he pivots, he's gonna hook. But I saw him do this in the Ortiz fight when he kept darting off to the side. He keeps darting off to the side until Ortiz is a little slower. Then when he did that, he started rushing him. He started throwing flurries.
No, what you're saying right now, honestly, is not out. It's totally plausible. So I understand the argument. I don't think it's a crazy argument. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're talking about Raleigh here. We're talking, you know what I mean? Like that could never happen. That could never happen in the context of Raleigh. But we're talking about, you know what I mean?
But even in the Ortiz fight, mate, Ortiz took the latter part of the fight.
No, Ortiz took the beginning.
The first half and Lomachenko took the second half.
Say this is one of the best debates we've ever had on here.
No, because it's not even a debate. It's more. I'm trying to visualize. I'm trying to visualize the fight. Like, okay, when Loma darts off to the side, Haney's gonna turn with him. I'm banking on that. Loma's either gonna right hook or jab, but the point of it isn't to get the right hook off or the jab. It's to fluster him, get to the blind spot, and bring over that straight left. Loma sometimes shoots it at your face. Sometimes he shoots it at your chest. And I see him doing that, flurrying, like, get off to the side.
I just don't see that happening without an adjustment.
He doesn't have the power to keep Loma.
I think the problem he's going to have getting that left off is if he's being fronted, he's going to have to reach. He's going to be fronted, right? So he's going to pivot. He's going to pivot, thinking he has that angle, right, to throw it, and then he's going to have to reach with it once Haney turns with him. That's what I'm saying.
If Haney cannot successfully, if he cannot neutralize Lomachenko, and that's a nice way of saying hold him all night, right? If he's not able to do that, okay.
I love having someone on the panel that I can go X's and O's with because this never really happens.
What I'm saying, look, if he can't do that all night, he's in trouble.
They're gonna fence. They're gonna fence. They're gonna compete for lead foot advantage. They're gonna fence. And you know what I see? Wait, Beeb. You know what I see? Straight left of the body. That's what I see.
Okay, so who do you see leading the first half of the fight? I see
Devin.
That's what I'm trying to say. If Devin's leading that first half of the fight, right, and then you're talking about angles and cuts, like I don't see. Like, first of all, you have to put yourself in that position, right? Like Haney. It's going to depend on how he chooses to fight. Look, cheers to Lady Chan. She said it the best. Like she said, if Devin comes out first half and decides to be aggressive, what does that do to Loma? What kind of wrench does that throw in his game?
That makes the job easier.
I understand.
Right. He's just got to pick up a few rounds at the end.
To Ring's point, even in the Tszyu fight, Loma did win a lot of the middle rounds. He won. I had him winning 8, 9, 10, and 11. He got the 4 middle rounds.
To Chan's point. If Devin Haney by some chance decides that, you know what, I'm not going to fence, I'm not going to fight off the back foot, I'm going to step into my jab, and I'm going to bring him the fight, you are literally making his little ass job that much easier. Now he doesn't have to find you. You want to fight? Okay,
it's going to be. He's not going to go all in.
That's what I'm saying. He could throw the right hand from distance and keep
distance.
And
it's
not. Let me just say this. Here's my issue with Devin Haney. This is my big issue with Devin. My big issue with Devin. Okay. He hasn't really shown me that he could really box at the level of Lomachenko, and let me explain what I mean by that. He's had to resort to holding. almost every time to nullify his opponents. Every time his opponent, like Barbosa was getting momentum, he would hold him, wait for the ref to break him up, and it was back to square one over and over again.
Yeah, if he's on the reset,
yeah, like if he cannot, I don't think he's going to be able to do that all night with Loma. I just don't. I don't think he's going to be able to hold him all night and then reset and all that shit's elementary to Loma anyway. Haney, he's very heavily influenced like with like a Cuban style, right? Loma's been fighting that style his whole amateur career. He's seen those angles before. He'll know what to do. Haney is banking on holding him and being the octopus that he is, boring the shit out of the crowd, okay, and resetting the fight over and over again. That's what he's banking on. That's what he's always banked on.
Do you want me to put 100? Do you want me to put 100 on Loma for you?
No, I'm not like look, you could do what you want, right?
No, I'm gonna because you don't have DraftKings over there or FanDuel. I can put 100 on.
Yeah, we can talk about that for sure. But shit. That's all I'm saying. Like I keep hearing, he's a master boxer. This is that. No, like if you take away the holding, just like Ali, he wasn't allowed to hold in the Thriller Manila like he was in the second fight.
If it was Shakur. And y'all know I'm real big on Shakur's boxing. It's fucking magnificent.
I love Shakur.
Whereas Devin is a very, very good PR boxer. You're very good. You're not great. I know I haven't seen great. I haven't seen that.
Do you think Tank can beat Devin?
Yes.
At 135?
Yes. Tank
I would. No, I'll tell you what. I don't know. Wait. Let me say. I think Tank versus Devin based on styles is 60-40 Devin's way. Devin does not make the mistakes that you usually use to knock the guy out. Like not the mistakes that you get with like a Leo. Well, Leo threw a right hand 3 fucking times. That's a fucking mistake. Rolly stepping into his jabbed right hand it was a jab and a body punch. It was like a 1-2, but the last one was to the body. His chin was way out there. What do you think Devin's gonna do that?
He fell over
himself. Look, I think one of the other things too is like we're talking about a Lomachenko who had all this experience, tons of experience coming into the pro ranks. He was already a professional boxer before he became a professional boxer. So we're talking about that, and then we're talking about a 24-year-old kid who learned on the job, who learned on the job, and who, by the way, unlike a lot of other people who are heavily influenced or trained by their father, this is a camp that allows other people to come in, that goes to other gyms, that takes, other people's knowledge and advice and works with them, And so I just think that we're still seeing the development. I agree that some of these fights where he held and he didn't really showcase skill as well, I don't think that puts the final stamp on Haney. Let's see what he does against someone like Lomachenko, somebody who provides and offers that get back. Because just like you said, Ring, if Devin goes out there and makes the decision and it plays into Loma's cards, let's see what decisions Loma's makes that plays into Haney's. I want to see.
I'm not sure Devin would beat Jermaine Ortiz.
Yeah, that's a fight we got to see, right? Look, let me just say this.
You're not sure that Devin would beat Jermaine Ortiz then?
Jermaine Ortiz is tough.
Jermaine Ortiz is from this neck of the woods. He can scrap.
Yeah,
I'm not saying. I said that before the fight. I'm like, this Jermaine Ortiz guy is fucking good. He switches. He's got fast feet, fast hands, good dimensions, good length. Boxes real good. And I'm not saying that shit to be funny. I'm not sure Devin would beat him. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard to be sure, right? Really quick, High and Low Sportorium, the channel where boxing is spoken with estilo. Thank you so much, brother. Much appreciated. One more thing I just want to say really quick before we go to the next topic. This is Lomachenko's I'm going to show you how great I am moment. Like that, this is where, like, if he wins this fight, people will look back and this is like when Hopkins beat Trinidad or something, or Sonny Liston getting defeated by a young Cassius Clay, something like that. That this is his moment right here, right? He could justify the things that the hype that he got, right? Like Bob Arum calling him the best fighter he ever seen, or no, that was Joe Rogan, right? So people said a lot of things, you know what I mean? By the way, hit my like button, guys. Let's get to, I believe in you guys. I believe we can get to 100 likes by the end of this show. I do believe in that, okay? Joe Habib, we're still sticking to these two guys, but we're gonna switch to Tank here because you guys mentioned them, and it's in the topics. But can we anticipate that Tank Davis will fight the winner of this fight anytime soon?
No.
Probably in 7 years.
He's not going to fight the winner of this fight, bro.
But he's going to be old in 7 years. He's going to be old.
7 years.
Yeah, he's
No,
not gonna fight.
he'll probably fight him like on Sony PlayStation.
Waste our breath even discussing it. Come on,
So
guys.
you don't think Tank will fight Haney or Loma?
No, because look, the main thing is the money. The main thing is the money. Like
they gotta get their numbers
the winner
up.
of this fight, whoever it is, right? They're not gonna fight for peanuts on a dollar. What's the problem? David, that's all you paying, bro. Motherfuckers is acting like Ryan got what Ryan got because Gervonta gave it to him. No, he added value to the show. That is different.
Yeah.
Ryan added value. Now you're gonna go back to paying guys what you've been paying Isaac and Rolly. 500 down, right? 500 down. I get the lion's share of the pot. Them guys not gonna go for that. Like Brody, I already get 3 M's per fight. If I'm fighting you, I'm going to want 6, and I can't say they wrong because it's like, yeah, if that dude get 3 M's per fight, like Shakur got 3 M's for Conceição.
Right, yeah.
What boo-boo the fool would he be if you going into a Davis fight and what you gonna give me 500 down a mil?
That's what Bob said. We all heard what Bob said.
Yeah.
Well said. Hey, before I go to the next person, the High and Low Sport Tommy says the first great fight of an undisputed dream and the last great chance of a champion to glory. Look at that. That's like a title you can use that for your article, Mario. You know what I mean? It's perfect.
I love it.
All right.
From Jim Lane.
New country guys, the Anchor Punch Boxing News with a $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Sub D Style and panel. And Loma wins 2 fights. He retires. Okay. Well, there you go.
I believe Shakur retires him if he does.
Okay, so we got Beef says it's 7 years. He's basically saying nah, right? Like not gonna happen. Ring, you're saying nah, no chance in hell, like the Vince McMahon song.
No chance in hell. No chance in hell.
Well, maybe Shoeshine is more like. Do you believe in Tank? Will Tank fight the winner and make it happen?
No.
Absolutely not. Tank is not. He's not interested in legacy, man. He's strictly a prize fighter. He's interested in what's going to bring him the biggest clout, the most spectacle, the biggest chunk of clout he can gather. He's not going to fight these guys. These 2 guys fighting on Saturday night are fighting. They're for purists. They're fighting for legacy, right? And I have, as a someone born and raised in San Francisco, a Bay Area kid. If Devin Haney wins, listen, I'm rooting for Devin Haney deep because. Just like I did for Andre Ward's career. But on the other hand, if Lomachenko wins, it's a great story in boxing. A guy who sat at the top of pound for pound and does it again at the age of 35 to sit on top of the division and ride off into the sunset as an undisputed champ. That's legacy. That's boxing. Tank is not interested in that. He's interested in just spectacle and prize, the biggest purse he can make. And he's influencing people like Raleigh Romero, who on Saturday got this gift decision. And he's not talking about fighting Regis Prograis or Josh Taylor. He's talking about, hey, can I fight Ryan Garcia? Can I get some of that too?
Bro, they're trash. They're trash.
He's influencing, like it or not, Gervonta Tank Davis is influencing. He's going to influence a whole nother generation, a crop of fighters.
You guys are killing Tank Davis right now.
Is it trash?
Lady Chan, like, what's going on? You don't believe in Tank?
No, I don't care. He's trash, bro. He's trash. He's trash for the sport. He's trash.
He's trash, man.
He's trash. Yeah. The end.
That being said, he could probably beat him. I think he could beat him.
I got 3 hard no's here. Mario, is Tank Davis gonna make? It doesn't have to be next. Like at some point next year, early 2025.
Okay, if you're asking like
soon, not in 7 years, like soon.
Oh,
like,
no, then no.
13 years.
No, not at all. Listen, if you were saying, will he step up and fight, a world champ that has beaten everybody at some point? Yeah, I think that it'll happen at some point. It's not happening anytime soon. And it's certainly not happening next. It's certainly not happening this year. And I doubt it's going to be next year. Look, they were already painting the narrative for Rolly to get the rematch. Like, let's be honest. He's more likely to fight Ryan a 3rd time than to fight the winner of Haney Loma once. So I think when you look at everything, right? And I think Shoeshine said it the best. It's like legacy versus like really money and superstardom. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys, Haney Loma, are trying to revive a sport that is dying. And what Tank is trying to do is something very different. He's trying to milk as much as he can off of that dying sport. And I'm not hating. I'm not going to hate. Like, it's fine.
You know what? Hate him, Mario. Hate
You
him.
don't have to hate. You don't have to hate, Mario.
No,
I'll hate for you. I'll hate for you.
Go for it. You hate for me, but all I'm going to say is
I'll
that
hate
at
for
the
you,
end
Mario.
of the day, the rest of us that don't live inside that Tank bubble or that PBC bubble, and I'm not trying to call anybody out or hate anybody, but the rest of us, we know. You know, everybody else that was saying that Tank Ryan was the real championship a few weeks ago and that who cares about Loma, I don't give a fuck about that. Say whatever you want. It's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to watch the Canadian championship and say that's more than the Super Bowl?
Who?
Hey,
Who's
listen,
saying that?
go to Twitter and it won't be hard to find.
No, yeah, it was
promise.
people
They gonna
saying. I
pop up.
seen that shit. I seen that shit.
Oh, yeah,
People
what
was
are
calling
we
it
talking
shit.
Belts don't matter. Belts don't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Belts don't matter.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
got the
with A side over here.
I
Just telling you when them
Wait.
Isaac Cruz numbers come in, when them Isaac Cruz
We
numbers come
the
in,
shit out of you.
reality gonna hit them motherfuckers. They're like, yeah, you better fight somebody, motherfuckers.
Fantasy fights, right? Tank had a fantasy career. It's just a fantasy whole career.
And just for the record, I don't think Tank is scared
well.
of any of those guys. I think that it is management, and I think that it is the structure for which they are
Mario.
the blueprint, like Mayweather. That's what I think
Mario,
is going on.
I'm gonna have to give you a tad bit of pushback there. I was listening to an interview Tank did on a podcast, and the guy goes to him, turns to him, "Don't you ever get the urge to say, damn man, I want to fight Lomachenko. I want to fight Devin. I want to fight Shakur." He turns around and looks at the guy and says, "No, I never thought that, man.
I never thought about it."
I don't think Tank is scared of those guys. I think he's terrified of those guys. Terrified is the word.
He literally said that, Mario.
Biting his
he literally-
nails, like
he literally said that on a podcast that he never thought about fighting those guys.
Well, how sad
Did you see that podcast, Lady Chan? Did you see that interview?
I saw
You
that
saw it,
clip on
right?
TikTok.
He turned and looked at the guy straight face and
Right.
says, "No, I never thought about
But
that."
I think the biggest problem is that even though we can't agree on whether he's scared of these guys or not, we all agree that he's not going to fight them, and I think that's worse. I think that's much worse.
I don't like to say
Tank
someone
gonna go out sad like Broner, man. He gonna go out sad just like Adrian, bro. Watch.
I'm gonna shock everybody right now. I'm gonna.
D's cooking.
Look, I'm just gonna shock everybody a little bit.
Let's go.
I think, because people they've labeled some sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for and careful what you ask for, right? You want to be labeled. You want people to start mentioning you as the face of boxing. You want people to say, and I've always said, if you want to be the face of boxing, you got to do face of boxing shit.
You got to face the boxers
because he's reached. Because now. He's up there. They're putting him. I don't think he's there myself, but they're putting up there with Canelo. Now you're going to get scrutinized. You're going to get Canelo scrutinized. You're going to get scrutinized to that level now. Now you can't fight Isaac Cruz without people being like, "Really, you're going to fight Isaac Cruz?"
Again,
it's only you're the new shiny thing. People are looking at. Oh, look at this nice shiny object. But once they realize what's behind the curtain,
it's
the Stephen A. Smiths of the world are going to be like, "Why aren't you fighting Devin Haney?" You know what I mean? They're going to start putting that out there.
Goes back to the conversation we had at the start of the show. They build you up to break you down. Oh, you sold 1 million pay-per-view buys. Everybody seen you do that. Now they're going to be like, "Hey, when you fight and so and so."
I think he's going to be pressure. I think the pressure's going to build, and I do think
he's going to be back.
If Haney wins, I think they can make the fight happen. I do.
Oh no, they're not. That's not happening.
Oh no. Well, make that.
Call me crazy. I just think it's possible. I do, and I do think if Loma wins, though, I don't see that happening.
Everything's possible, but what's the probability?
I think it's more possible than
probably a negative 3%.
It's not probable.
It's probably a negative 100%.
I don't know. I just think nobody thought that fight was going to 1.2 million. Like when they signed the fight.
I didn't.
You know. It was a far thing, right? I just think he's in a different stratosphere now, and I think the criticism's going to be at a whole nother level. He's under the microscope now.
Playing catch up at nearly 30 years old. Yeah, that's why.
Leonard Allerby's nostrils can't defend him forever.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, hopefully
Leonard Allerby can blow, his nostrils can blow down the hay house and the one made out of sticks, but now you got to blow down the one made out of bricks. Can't do it, Leonard. You know what I mean?
Them nostrils, he can blow down bricks.
So we will see, right? But yeah, I'm not optimistic either. But I am hoping that there's going to be some mounted pressure with that label and what people are expecting, and I'm kind of seeing it already. So we'll see, right? It is what it is. But one last topic, guys. First of all, to the chat, make sure you hit the like button. I know we can get to 100 by the end of the show. We're 86 right now. We're almost there. So if you haven't already hit that like, we'll go reverse order here. We'll start with you, Mario. Tszyu. Well, not Tim, but Jermell Charlo has been ordered to fight Tszyu by 30th of September. They're basically saying, that's it, brother. It's time to defend your belt. Are we going to get this belt, or will you end up vacating and then Tszyu will be upgraded to the regular WBO champion? What do you think is going to happen here?
First of all, that's my birthday, September 30th, and I definitely think they're going to fight. I've heard a couple of things before everything fell apart about like what some of the people within the Mel and Maul camp had plans or whatever. Maul's completely derailed, but they had a really strong plan with Mel. They had a vision, right? And Tszyu was always part of that. So I don't think that he avoids it. I don't think he moves up. I don't think he drops the belt. I think they end up making that fight. I really do. And I think Mel wants it. But real quick, though, before I pass it off, I just want to say real quick, I meant to do this at the beginning of the show. Shout out to Julian the King Delgado from Corpus Christi, won the National Golden Gloves. First person from Corpus Christi in over 40 years. So I just wanted to say that real quick.
So really quick, since we're on that, shout out to Kayla Gomez, who was the first ever in history to win it for El Paso, Texas, National Golden Gloves. So there we go.
Nice.
That is.
I saw that on your story. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, you're gonna give her a shout out, Mario.
My bad. You did, and you're, when I drop the ball, you pick it up. So
yeah. All right. Was that your final thoughts, Mario?
100.
Okay, cool. Lady Chan, are we gonna get this fight, or is he gonna fight the Australian?
I feel that we will, but I don't know if this hand injury was somehow, I don't know, was it real, was it fake, was it whatever? With these two brothers, we always said Mel is the only Charlo that we acknowledge. But right now, I don't know, because I saw him calling out Canelo now. Like, just leave us alone. Just leave us alone. Fight the people who's in your weight category. Fight who you're supposed to fight. And just move it along, mate. We ain't got time for this shit. So, yeah, I do think they will fight. And it will be a good fight because I've seen Tim look, speaking about it, he looks mad intent. And he wants to make this fight. So I feel that, yeah, I don't see Mel vacating. He's got too much pride for that shit. You better just fucking fight, mate. And yeah, I feel that the fight will be made. When it gets a bit closer, I'll make a prediction. But yeah.
Okay. But before I go to Shoeshine, this is what I think is going to happen. I'll just give my thoughts real quick. I think, I don't know if the fight will happen or not. I'm just, honestly, I've heard Jermell, I know Beeps pointed to say, he's done interviews saying, I don't want to pay all these sanctioning fees and, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I think he might vacate the WBO thinking, well, I'll get the fight with Tszyu later anyway. But I think they're going to do the hand-me-down. Like Jermell's going to hand-me-down the WBC to Jermell, right? And then Jermell will hand-me-down one of those suspense. And I think we'll probably get like a Spence Tszyu fight, to be honest with you, at 154. But I think all the triplets are going to be moving up. That's what I'm predicting is going to happen, right? Yeah. But go ahead, Shoeshine. Are we going to get this fight? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he definitely fights him. I think his ego is way too large to be looked at as a duck. I think he's going to fight him. But you bring up a really interesting point because I have heard some of those interviews, D-Style, and I could see that situation where he lets go of some of those belts, if not one or two of them. I could see that too. But I think he ultimately fights Tim Tszyu, and he should be taking Tim Tszyu very seriously. I think he's a very dangerous opponent.
Yeah, shout out to Virtuoso. He says, who do you have between Marataya and Nakatila? Me and Calix talked about it in the podcast earlier on ATPX. But I actually, I have Murataya for sure.
Murataya,
he's more active. That's my official prediction. Okay, but
me too.
Yep. Ring IQ. Are we gonna get this fight, or is there some stuff going on? What do you think?
I've never thought we were gonna get this fight. I'm firm. I've been set on that belief for months. The whole Terrell Gachet thing, that was a setup. To me, that was a setup. That they thought that Terrell was going to win the fight and keep the WBO interim in house, to give them power. That's the only reason that they did that. The only reason they were willing to send Tony to Australia is to see if he could finish the job that Terrell didn't. It was never their intention to make this fight. Jermell, out of his own mouth months ago, said that Tszyu is not a part of my plan. And even if he's saying something new now, bro, like I said, I've been saying, these guys ain't going to fight. He's going to fight this fucking guy off that layoff. Really? Nah, it don't happen. And it was never going to happen. They just didn't bank on Tszyu beating Terrell Gausha. That's what threw the monkey wrench into everything. They thought Tim was going to lose that fight. When he doesn't lose the fight, it's like, oh, shit, what are we going to do now? You know? And I've never thought they were going to fight. Just like you said, and I've said it many times myself the last couple of months, they're going to move Maul eventually up to 68. They're going to move Mel up to 60, and they're going to move Errol up to 54. That was always the plan. I've always thought that was the plan. That's what I'm expecting. I don't think they're ever going to fight.
Speaking of Maul, they still all move up.
Oh, no, I agree with that. Speaking of Maul, join me and Calix. We'll soon be having the 700th day inactivity celebration. If you guys want to join us for that. Drew says, appreciate the support, brother. He says, if Mel wanted glory and money, he'd go to Australia for $7-10 million. This fight is 5 times the fight Haney versus Barbosa was in Australia. I agree with that. The money is in Australia, but you know what, though? It's going to be on pay-per-view in Australia anyway, like in the afternoon over there. So I think they feel they got that money. But And Tszyu, believe it or not, wants to fight in the U.S. Like he wants to do it in Vegas.
Yeah, he wants to be a U.S. You know.
Like he keeps saying that I want to do what my dad did. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Joe Beeb, if you had a crystal ball, do you think we're gonna get this fight?
I've been saying it for 8 months, just like Ring. I think that you're hearing Andrade and Jamal talking about fighting at 168. I've always said that I think that. Jermell will probably move up and fight Carlos Adames for the full WBC middle. And then you'll have Spence move up and he'll probably take on, Tszyu. So I've been saying that. Yeah. So I don't think the fight's going to happen.
All right. Okay. There we go. Anybody going live tonight?
No.
All right, so everyone can go to Ring IQ's channel tonight. Make sure you're there. If you're not already, subscribe to his channel, all that good stuff. He'll be going live. You're always live, bro. God damn, you're a busy dude. Not
really. I only do like maybe 2 lives a week. Maybe 2.
Okay.
I don't really like being live, to be honest.
What time do you usually do those?
It depends. Like if I'll do 2 in the middle of the week, and then if there is a fight on the weekend, then I'll do 1. But I generally like editing. That's editing is my thing. That's the hobby part of it to me. I just go live because, I get to talk shit freely without it taking very long.
That's what makes you successful, though, because you do the clip and you cut the way you do. I mean, everybody loves those.
And you don't need to edit.
Good stuff. High and Low Sports Tournament, the channel, Camelot of Boxing. Make sure, again, subscribe to everybody here. Subscribe to Lady Chan. All right.
I'll be live tomorrow.
She'll be live tomorrow. There we go. All right. Just subscribe to the Shoe Shine Boxing. Just put that on your search engine and all that good stuff, guys. With that, Fighting Podcast with Mario and, of course, Ringside Reporter. You know what I mean? With Eric Lorda every
at New York
Sunday. Right. With that said, and I appreciate it. Apparently, I'm the Camelot of Boxing. Okay, cool. This is D-Style Boxing. And remember, always keep it boxing. We're out of here, guys. Peace.
Yeah. Wow.